The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GMC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps to cabin leak check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. I am your host, Joni Skinner. We are streaming live on the R.I.F.T Nation Network on this lovely Wednesday evening on YouTube, Facebook, and our latest platform, Rumble. Please hit the like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Welcome. Come on in, everybody. We've got another mystery. You know, every week I start to look at a case and then something else is starting to pop up. And we have covered the EP story and the EP list for quite a while. This came out of the blue. I know everybody knows who Virginia Roberts is, and that on April 25th, we all heard the horrific news that she had transitioned. So tonight we're going to take a look at Virginia's story. Virginia was our hero. And, you know, I remember when this court case was going on with Max. Remember Max? And we covered that. She was the hero. Virginia was the hero. And there were other victims that came forward, absolutely. but Virginia was our face of the story. She was strong. She stood up to a very big machine. So, I just, to honor her and her life and what she did go through, and it's sad. It's a tragic story. So I wanted to see what the astrology told us. Well, we'll go through it tonight, but I dug a little deeper. And we know some of the things that Virginia and who she spoke about. So I dug into their charts too. So I'm going to put their charts up as well. And I'm going to, what's funny here in the States, the legacy media, crickets. There is absolutely nothing on her story. When her story broke, it was a blurb. She unalived, and that was it. And we really don't know if she did that. We really, we've not gotten official word that even occurred. It was a blurb. And that was 5 days ago. And when the legacy media is quiet, we know to dig deeper. So I know all of the streamers and everyone from our friends over in the UK are really carrying her story, which is amazing. And I'm so glad they are. Sean Atwood, I love Sean Atwood. He is, to keep up to date with all of her information. Please tune into Sean Atwood. He is a streamer, and I adore him anyway. He is really keeping up with her story, which I think is absolutely wonderful because she should be honored. She brought this case forward. She is the reason that Andy, the Queen stripped him of all of his titles. The Queen took everything away. Virginia stood her ground. She stood tall. She did not back down. She also was a witness in another case over in France, which put another person who suffered the same fate as Jeff. It was his cohort in crime. And over in France, he also, before a pre-trial hearing, they found him. Same circumstances. That was over in France. So Virginia testified in that trial. She stood tall. So she had a hard life with what she had. So thanks for sharing out, everybody. Let's get to her story. And I know there is so much, of course, there's a lot going around. Nothing here, by the way, in the States. Nothing. The streamers are, the independent media, the live streamers are carrying it. True crimers are carrying it here in America. The legacy media, nothing. I mean, zero. Even when something new breaks on the case. So when that happens, we all have to go, what's going on? Now, we also know that there were boxes and boxes of additional information that were being hidden by a 3-letter agency up in New York, and this is recent, and they refused to turn over the additional information, thousands of pages. So that was a big to-do, and those were finally brought to the DOD, the DOJ, and they are going through, and they found more victims. So they are now redacting more victims, but we are getting more information is about to be released. Now, when is that going to be released? We don't know. We've already seen JFK, Robert, RFK, MLK is coming. Crossfire Hurricane was released, unredacted. So I imagine this is coming. They also stated, the DOJ also stated there would be additional charges forthcoming on this case. So you think what you want, what has happened to her. I know it doesn't, everybody's going to speculate because we're not hearing anything. And what we do hear, we're not hearing much of. She's she was such a victim's advocate. Even after what she went through, she continued her work and was there for victims. So I think there's a lot of other very frightened women out there that don't know what happened. I think for law enforcement in Australia, I don't know how they work there, but to come out and say this is what we suspect, or this is what we found, it might there are a lot of victims out there that are very frightened right now because they don't know the information, and it might help them. So let's get to her story. How are you, chat? Hello, Miss Lee. Hello, Mr. Odell. Hello, Miss Peggy, Lois, Tammy, Michelle, Lee. Hi, Miss Cindy. How are you guys? Lee, Texas storms this evening. I've got one, and I keep hearing it. It's rumbling outside, you guys. So keep our fingers crossed with it. We keep power. We're starting to rumble, but we're in Tornado Alley, so tis the season. How are you, Ashley? I hope you're doing well. Hello, Miss Denise. Everybody that's in the storm season, be safe. Be safe, everybody. Have your phones on. Hello, Miss Carrie Lynn, Lois. Hello. So glad you're covering Virginia. I know. You know what? I am too, because have you all noticed the Angel Rock? I love that. That's so sweet. Not many are. A lot of true crimers are. True crime community is, but the media here is it's frighteningly quiet right now. That tells me something. For them to be quiet, there must be some extremely powerful people involved. Well, we've known that. We do know that. We know it. We know exactly who's involved. I think that's a given. That's a given. Howie agrees with Tammy. I think Lorelei, hi, you're so welcome. You guys are so cute. Sean had Lionel Nation. I did not see that. Sean had Lionel Nation on today, lawyers from the U.S., and Lionel wants the FBI to get involved because Virginia was still supposed to testify over in the U.S. about this case. That's so interesting that Lionel Nation said that, and a lawyer from the States, because of the fact that the DOJ recently said there will be charges. Who is their star witness? I agree with Lionel. I'm going to have to go. I'll listen. I'll watch that podcast tomorrow. Thank you for that. Sean is on this. I love Sean. He's one of my favorites. That's interesting. When I first heard this, I thought, I wonder if she's under protective custody. That's a thought. But we just don't know. We don't know. We do not know. Could she possibly? Did they bring that up on Sean's show? Could she possibly be under protective custody as a witness? I finally caught a live. Thank you, Rue. Rue, I'm glad you're here because I did the event chart at the time of her transition. You know, we really don't know what time it was, but I'd like your opinion. Rue is a forensic astrologer as well. I really would like your input, Rue, on the chart that I did. So I'm so glad you're here. How are you? Happy almost birthday. Hello, Miss Linda. I'm doing great. How are you guys? You know, we are over the hump too, by the way. I wanted to tell you guys this just before we get started, because April was a hard astrological month. Probably one of the toughest that we've seen in astrology in a while. We had what was called a Grand Cross that lasted for weeks. We also had a Mars-Pluto opposition. They are separating now. We're out of the woods. May, I looked at it. I'm going to knock on wood, though. May looks wonderful, you guys. Astrologically, May looks great. Venus and Saturn were together all through April, which is hard on romance, hard on finances. It was a tough month. Breathe in May. I'm just telling you guys right now, we are able to breathe. We have a great new moon coming up in Gemini. Great for clarity, great for new projects. We have a weird Scorpio full moon. But all full moons in Scorpio are kind of weird. You know? Oh, yes. Send that out, everybody. Kathy had surgery this morning. Prayers for her. Prayers for our friend, Miss Kathy. Yes, please send our speedy recovery wishes to her, everyone. So let's get started, you guys. And we have covered Virginia. Like I said, she is one of my absolute heroes. At a time when it was Jane Doe 1 or 2, there's Virginia. Oh, HELL to the no. I'm going to stand out in front of that microphone and I'm going to tell everybody exactly what happened. And I'm going to speak for the rights of the victims. She became my instant hero immediately. So, she's my hero. Oh, well, you guys, I'll tell you what, in Canada here, thank you, hon. Canada, you're going to be all right. We've looked at the charts. Canada, you guys got, you know, June. You guys are going to be fine. It's going to work out. So it is, things get worrisome, but don't, it's, you know, it's all an uproar and all that negativity. They throw so much negativity at us during elections. It's just, you have to tune it out. And it's like, no, I can't, I can't listen anymore. No, but you're going to be okay, Canada. Now, I did say you're an Aries rising, Canada. Neptune and Saturn are going into your rising sign right now. That is your physical appearance. There could be changes with the physical appearance of Canada. I've been saying that for, gosh, Denise, when did I say that, Denise? Back in November when we looked at it? But you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Stay positive. So here we've got Miss Virginia, and this, as you all know, this picture with Andy, and I'm going to kind of, you know, cover up my words a little so that we don't get taken down, but here's Andy. This was the picture that shocked the world, that went everywhere. This is the picture that actually 17-year-old Virginia had pictures. She had everything. She had it all. And then to the right is a picture of her coming out of the court. And I believe that was when Max Max was on trial. Max was on trial. Who's at, you know, the spa penitentiary in Florida right now with her 20 years, which she'll probably end up getting out next year. This is the counterpart to Jeff, to Ep. I'll call him Ep, to Ep. Jean-Luc Brunel. He was another one that was in a lot of trouble that Virginia testified. He was also in with Ep in his business, so to speak. You know, and we also know now, what we didn't know then, that Ep was actually working for the three letters. So we know that now. It's hard to say it, you know, the EpiPen. Here's another one. This is another victim that we have that has transitioned to Caroline, and another one that we, you know, another hero. Now, her mother has come out publicly and said this should be investigated. Again, a lot of these should be investigated, but there's many others that should as well. Now, this is what struck me funny, and this came out. This ABC anchor on a hot mic, Amy Robich, said she was so angry when she heard that this story had broken. I've had this story. She was sitting on it for 3 years. ABC continued to say no to her. You cannot do this story. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts, and she was on the hot mic. And I'm sure you guys have remembered this. It's all over social media if you want to hear it. And this is what Amy said. It was unbelievable what we had. Billy, we had everything. And that was her on a hot mic. This is the reporter that sat on this story for 3 years. And then when it broke, she didn't have the big story because ABC would not allow her to show the story. ABC's awful quiet now. And once again, we've got a picture of Max, Virginia, and Dandy Andy. Now, it's alleged that now, what happened to Virginia? She was abused at the age of 7. Okay, she was at the age of 7. She was abused. So at 14, she ran away. She had a rocky relationship with her mother. Her father got her a job at 14 at a club, and I don't want to say the club because then I don't want, for fear of getting taken down. She met through this private club golf course in the Florida area. She met Max. Max then introduced her to Ep. So from 1999 to 2002, 17-year-old Virginia was, you know what happened to her. So here she is again, you know, testifying. Yeah. It's a hot mic with Amy. You can listen to it on social media. I was kind of afraid to play it here because the takedown is pretty, I would be afraid they would take it down. Now, as we know, here is Ep on the left. And now this is the story of Virginia recently in March, that it's just, there is so much out there. We don't really know what to speculate, what to think of. She posted this picture on Instagram. Now, she came back after the picture was posted and stated, I thought it was on my private Facebook page with friends and family. And there was an alleged car collision with a bus. The bus driver left the scene because it was a fender, what he called, it was not a tragic accident. Virginia was not driving. 71-year-old woman was driving. The bus driver told them, I will report this. And the police said, we don't have anybody to come out right now. If anybody needs to, go to the hospital. So Virginia showed up at the hospital the following day. Now, this, was, and the bus driver is shocked. He's like, this was not a bad accident. But we don't know. Some speculate that she had sustained a fall as well. And on her post, she had put down a very cryptic message that she had renal failure and had 4 days to live, and then came back, redacted that pretty much. And the family came out and said she underwent, it was a serious accident. She's under care. And, this is what's happened. So, and here, yes, and I heard that today too, and things are starting to leak out. Sean, thank you so much for this. Sean and Lionel, and Sean Atwood again, this is the streamer, and Lionel was his guest. He's another streamer. We're talking about Virginia had a broken neck for quite a few years. This fact released today and is quite suspect. Yes. Now, that could have been a fall. Those injuries, we just don't know. What we do know about Virginia at this time is that she had been married for 20 years. She has 3 teenage children. She was undergoing a pretty nasty divorce. In February, her husband, soon to be ex-husband, they were in the middle, they were separated, took custody of the 3 children. He had a restraining order put out on her. We don't know any of the details. We know nothing about why and what had happened. Her attorney made a statement that she was supposed to meet Virginia the day that she found out Virginia had passed. And she said, I am shocked. She did not know that. She said Virginia was wanting to update her home. There was no indication whatsoever that she was in any type of a mental state. And she said, had I known that, we would have gotten her help. Okay? So the broken neck, we don't know what has happened. On Sean's show with Rob hosting on the weekend. And what's great about this, isn't it, is Sean is on top of this case like crazy. Show with Rob hosting on the weekend, they uncovered in Virginia's last social media posts, including this photo you have up, she's wearing the same earrings in the pic. But, oh, don't leave me hanging. Finish. But what? Tell us about the earrings. What did they see? She's wearing the same earrings in all the pics, but, ooh, keep typing for us. Okay, here we go. She looks very different in these last 3 pics, all supposedly taken on the same day, including one leaving the hospital, but no bruises. That's okay, hon. The last photo of her, and I saw it today, and I was going to put it on the slides today, there were no bruises. There were no bruising. She was with her 2 brothers, and she was smiling. So she looks very different. Yes, she does. There's a lot of weirdness surrounding this whole situation. And you know, I understand that the other victims are very, very worried. So a lot of speculation. This apparently this picture to this particular picture, she is obviously in a hospital bed. Let's see if there, she's obviously in a hospital bed. You know, so it's just, she doesn't always wear these earrings too. See, they're good true crimers, because I didn't even notice that. So apparently, from what we can gather, her brother apparently is who found her in the evening at 10:30 in the evening. There's also rumor, and it's alleged, that the police spent 10 to 12 hours on the scene. Now that's speculation. Kirby said that, another author who has followed the Epstein case for decades. She's an author. She knew Virginia, and Kirby had said that she had heard that the authorities had spent 10 to 12 hours on the scene. Now, if it's just an alive situation, why would law enforcement spend 10 to 12 hours on the scene? Yes, I believe so. They even speculated, could she actually be deceased? Yes. Could she have already been deceased in this picture? I believe so. I believe so. Yes. Very much so. Could be. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, nothing with this case would surprise me. Now, here's a picture of where Virginia lived, down in Western Australia by the Perth area. Now, another thing that's very confusing about this case is that people said that she was on her farm, which is a very sprawled out, beautiful farm. And then there was other speculation it was at her beach house, and they're in the same area. So we don't even really know that even portion of it. We don't even know that portion of this, of where she was even found. Sean and Lionel said the same about the police for 10 hours. And yeah, Kirby said that for 10 plus hours, removing items from Virginia's home. And why? Was it a crime scene? What were they removing for 10 hours? I've never heard of people staying for 10 hours. Why would somebody, why? Oh, I'm gonna tell you what. There's a lot. This is shady. Okay, now this is a picture of her beach home, and there are authorities are there. Looks like, and this is during the day. She was apparently found in the evening, 10:30 in the evening. We don't even know if that's true. Now, this is what I did was I looked at her natal chart, and Rue, chime in on this, please. Please chime in on this, Rue, for me. We know now why Virginia was so strong and stood up so tall and so strong and so brave. She was a Leo. And if you look up in the 10th house of her chart, you can see the sun up in Leo, and there's two initials. It says MC. That's her midheaven. That's what the public saw. She was very strong in public. 10th house, very strong, strong woman. She had a moon in Virgo, rising Scorpio. So I looked at the date of her transition. Did I see any? Now, I've looked at many, many charts where people have transitioned or have passed on. Rue, help me out on this one. I didn't see a lot of patterns or triggers on her natal chart. If you look at the planets, the green on the outside of her chart, those are the transits. Those are the planets in real time at the time of her alleged death. The only thing, every chart that I look at, and I have looked at so many, the lunar nodes, which are your soul's destiny and your past lives, without fail, are triggered at the time of someone's passing. It never fails. Something will trigger them. Something, whatever planet it is, it's usually a square, an opposition, something will trigger that for the soul to leave and check out. The only thing, and I circled it in purple, is Jupiter, which is abundance, was hitting her north node, which would have been a very beneficial time for her upcoming. That would have been a very good time, positive time. Now we know she had kidney issues. We heard she self-medicated possibly. We don't know. Libra rules the kidneys. Saturn rules the bones and the structures. The sun was opposing Saturn in Libra. Is that a big trigger? No, but it's something. I mean, I was looking for anything I could see. Chiron, which it could be a physical body or something happening to someone's physical body in their sixth house of health. Sixth house of health was opposing her ascendant, which is her physical body. Is that a trigger? No, not really, but it's something. That was about it. I am not kidding. There were, that was it on her natal chart. Rue, do you see anything? No, I don't think so. No, but I'm going to show you on the event chart, on the forensic astrology chart, where that could have possibly happened. Yes. I'm up in the air on this one. Again, I hate to do that to you guys, but I'm very up on the air. Okay, here's the forensic astrology chart. This is what we call an event chart. This was, I figured this out at the time that she was found on April 25th, 25 in Perth. Now, I did this to see if there was a perp. If somebody hurt her, she was a victim, is there a perp? There really isn't. Unalive by SUI, by hurting yourself, those markers are Pluto in the 12th, Uranus in the 8th. And I've looked at and those markers are not on this chart. So the S is, to me, is ruled out. I'm ruling that out completely. But don't you guys think it's kind of funny that that's never been an official word, but yet I know the legacy media here, which is they're nothing but vipers, ran with that because they wanted to make her look like, no. I'm going to say no. That's a big no. So the S is, I'm ruling that one out astrologically. Now, look at go to the little pie, like the pizza pie shape. That's 4. What is the 4th house? That's in the home. Whatever occurred on that evening if she is unalived, and that's an if, occurred in the home. She is represented by the moon in the 4th house. Chiron is in there, which could show physical body, physical weakness, something to the physical body. And I specifically looked for kidneys because remember, they have told us, and she told us she had kidney issues. Kidneys are Venus. Venus is right next to Neptune, which could have been drugs. Can also be a video. Saturn represents her body or remains if we're looking for somebody. So, if I were to look at this chart and we've got Jupiter coming in, and Jupiter, when it's squaring Neptune. So when Jupiter is in a square with Neptune, Jupiter expands things. Jupiter is in her house of health. If anything happened to her, this would have been completely unintentional. And this is just looking astrologically, in my opinion. It would have been unintentional. From Jupiter expands things, Neptune could be drugs. Mercury is playing into this. Their information is on her phone. It's on her phone. Information is communicated. We're going to find out something about her phone because Neptune is right there. Saturn, the North Node, is right there too. So I think we're going to hear something in Mars. Would be some kind of it could have been an attack to the kidneys. I think we're going to hear that something happened to the kidneys. I think. Rue, help me out on this one, Rue. Help me out on this one, Rue. So we know that that reporter had a lot on you know who. Now here's Virginia in 2019 making publicly known that she was not, and she was a Leo. I'm sorry, Leos don't do that. I mean, that's it. Nope. I'm going to stick my ground on that one. A Leo, Scorpio rising, Moon in Virgo. No. Nope. Leo, no. Leo's going to stand up and fight, and she was on a mission. She was on a mission to help other. She was very strong, and she was on a mission probably to get her children back. And yes, it was rough, but she would have been on a mission. Leos just don't do it. It's not in the. It's no. I'm just going to really push back on that. Unaliving and hurting. Now we've also got this. We've got, and I feel bad for the other victims. She's coming out and stating, I am not S. I'm making it clear to the world that I am not. She was kidnapped over 2 decades ago. She claims she met Ep in Africa while he was with Willie and is familiar with the body count. Aren't we all familiar with that body count? If you're not familiar with what she's talking about, I made a slide of it. Here's the B count. This is crazy. It's up to 46, but I think it's more like 50 now. Here's the B count. Each body count that is suspicious that happened involving Willie. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 past bodyguards gone. 12 are gone. Here's all the suspicious activity that has to do with the body count. So, and then I put that down. So our last 15 minutes, I thought, well, you know what? Let's take a look at Willie's chart and see what's ahead for him in the near future. We know he was on the plane. Who are we kidding? We know he was on the list. He's never denied it. We know it. That reporter even said it. So we're going to take a look at two people that we are very, very aware of. And the one that I've got up there now is Bill Gates. And we know publicly that his ex-wife has come out and publicly stated, you can find it, one of the reasons for their divorce was because of his associations with Epstein. She has publicly said that was one of her reasons for their divorce, was his association with Epstein. So what's ahead for him? Wow, oh wow. Wait until you get a load of this. So we've got him. He is a Scorpio, rising Cancer with a moon in Aries. The first thing that I saw immediately on his chart, besides immediately on his chart, is, see where the blue, like the light blue, is up at the top by the 8th house? Look at the number 8. I've got blue. Transiting Pluto, the Grim Reaper, is in opposition to his natal Uranus. Natal Uranus. What does that mean? So, unexpected, unpredictable events, unexpected upheaval is headed his way. That's happening right now as we speak. What else was funny? You know, we've got two major shifts that are occurring. We've already had Neptune move into Aries in 13 years. It made the move. See at the top of his chart where I got that circle? Neptune is right now on his midheaven. Papa Karma, Daddy Karma, Saturn, at the end of this month, is going to be conjunct his midheaven, which means Saturn will be sitting on his midheaven. What's the midheaven? It's what the public sees. This puts your reputation in focus. It's a reality check, challenges, isolation. Here we go. We also have Uranus over to the left in July. I can't make this up. Uranus is going to be moving into his 12th house, the house of undoing, the house of karma, karmic disruptions in July are going to be hitting him in July. This is Billy Gates. So we need to keep an eye on his chart because his chart is getting ready to really have, the karma train is pulling into his MC, and that is going to just put him up into the spotlight for whatever reason. I don't know. It's also hitting his moon. Weird. Weird. That's his chart. So, I mean, what's really odd, the North Node is transiting in the 9th house, which is the house of legal affairs. That's his destiny. The North Node is up in his house of judicial. You know what? Oh, good. I got to look at that. There's been some with Klaus Schwab too. I need to pull up his chart too. Let's pull it. I'll pull up. I'm going to have to come on here and say, I am not S. I'm fine. They're going to be coming after me. Okay. I can't make this up. You can't make up these transits. I've got too many astrologers in here that know this too. Now we're going to take a look. This one is going to blow you away. Here we go. Willie. As you can see, there's a lot of markings on this particular chart. He's very charming. Why is he so charming? Because he's all Libra stellium. He's a rising Libra, sun in Leo. Are you kidding me? And a moon in Taurus. This is like, presidents and famous people, 10th, 11th house. I mean, that's just like a charming, beyond charming. And he is. He's very smooth. He's a smooth talker. So, what did I see in his house? Well, I looked at Pluto because Pluto can wreak some havoc. Pluto comes a calling. Look at the big purple line, which is hitting his 5th house. Pluto into his 5th house, which is your house of children, your house of fun, your house of creativity. It's a nice house. Is opposing his natal Saturn up in his 11th house. Intensive challenges, authority figures, intense challenges. This is going to go on for about 2 years with him, back and forth. So then I wanted to look at the big movement into Aries, where we've got Big Daddy Karma and Neptune going into Aries. It's going into his house of marriages. Marriage, relationships, open enemies. That's what's going to hit his 7th house. Guess what it's squaring? Those 2 planets in Aries are going to be squaring his midheaven. So not only do we have Bill Gates's midheaven lighting up, we've got Willie's lighting up as well. So at the end of the month, into June and July, we've got to keep our eyes open on them. Not only are those 2 planets going to be lighting up his MC, they are also going to be opposing his ascendant, his physical body. So Saturn is going to be hitting his physical body. Pluto is hitting his natal Saturn. These 2 men, I just pulled them up just because I thought, oh, that's funny that girl on TikTok or whatever her video was mentioned, I know about this and that. And I thought, well, I'm going to look up and see what their astrology looks like. I was pretty impressed with what's going on. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this because they do not have easy transits coming at them. Something is going to happen. I don't know what it is. I would never expect to see these people charged. I don't think it will, but I think, let's face it, if they released information on either one of these, any of these people, they don't need to be charged. It will ruin them. So what they found up in New York that was being hidden is now uncovered, and we're going to see it. I don't know when, but we're going to see it. So that in and of itself would cause turmoil to the people that we already know that were involved. We know this. We know this for a fact. We know it. Yes, I've heard today through a source that WED is under investigation. Reference legal matters. And yes, they are. $25 million. They're under investigation for Klaus Schwab is alleged in the amounts of $25 million. $25 million. They had an emergency board meeting. Yeah, daughter is testifying in these legal matters against her father. Good. Somebody should. He's evil. He's evil. And you know what? We're gonna have to take a look at his chart too. We'll take a look at his chart too. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to this? I was really surprised at what I saw on their charts. I was really surprised. Does anybody have any other thoughts on, man, this chart is one of those charts where you're like, dude, go to the Caribbean, sit on the beach, go have a foo-foo drink with an umbrella in it for a couple of weeks. Now I'm just kidding, but you know, even if charges don't get pressed on these people, which they never would, like I said, anything that comes out on these people, if it were to come out and they were implicated and we get the truth, that in and of itself is bad enough. Schwab is, oh, yes, he really is. You know, I've always wondered if he were the, perhaps the Antichrist. I've always thought of that. That's a good chart I need to look at. I've thought that. I've thought he could possibly be considered like, because this, you know, and for people that are clairvoyants know that this is spiritual warfare that we are in. We have been in spiritual warfare since way before lockdown. And people that are clairvoyant know that. They know it. I've had too many clairvoyants and people, this battle is not being fought at this level. And everybody knows it. So, hi, hun. I had asked if there's anything that showed on her chart that the media is restricted. Well, let's go look. I'm sorry, Linda, I didn't see it, hun. Let's go look. Media would be, that would be, let's look. Well, it's not the media, it's just the legacy media here. It's not being restricted in the UK. Everybody's talking about it. In the UK, it's being very open. Let's see. Media would be third house. It would be Mercury near Saturn. So no, but that's here. It's the media here's not talking about it. I had asked, yeah, not that I can see, not that I can see. I'll tell you, and the new media is talking about it. The new media is talking about it. It's the old media that is not. And I think that just goes back to, why did ABC sit on this story when that girl had Amy had the story for 3 years and they would not allow her to share the story? Why in the world would ABC sit on such a bombshell of a story for 3 years? That's what I would ask myself. You know, I would think, this is a great question, Renee. Anything on Virginia's, what would, witness protection, who would do that, Renee? Would that be a 3-letter agency? That could be Mars. Okay, that could be Mars. That could be Mars. That could be the military. That would be police. That could be law enforcement. If it were a 3-letter agency, it would be 12th house. But look at Mars in this event chart. That's very interesting, Renee. It's trining everything. And trine, look at the blue lines to Mars. Good catch, Renee. I'm going to have to look at that more tomorrow because Mars would be law enforcement. It's all in very good harmony to her, to everything. It's in harmony. Interesting. That's very interesting. So Mars is, I don't know. that could show it. Gosh, hopefully she's in protection. They all go down. Wouldn't that be wonderful in this wonderful world? I don't know. I can't answer it. This is just, if we had a time, if we had more of a time, we don't have a time. It's hard for the astrology. When I look at her natal chart, I don't see a lot of triggers of passing over either. It's a mystery. I call Klaus. I'm glad he stepped down. $25 million. That's alleged. 25 million's missing. They had an emergency board meeting. Got it. Okay. I hope that answered your question, Linda. Okay, here we go. I think the Pope will direct the people to listen and follow the Antichrist. Pope? The Pope's gone. The Pope is no more. I think African Pope steps up first. I don't know. I'm not watching it. I'm not familiar if they're even picking one yet, and I hope it's a good person. I hope it's the person. I hope it's a good person, Lee. Cover-ups. There have been cover-ups since day one. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think it's more of a mystery now, you all. Keith, you are so right. Everybody knows this now. It's a spiritual battle. It is. Everybody knows it now. Everybody knows it now. That's why people are praying up. You got to. They won't win. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna keep watching, the streamers and keeping an eye on our British and UK friends, because they're keeping up. I'll keep watching Lionel too, and keeping on this, because the streamers are the ones that are bringing us the info. But I think it's just kind of funny how quiet the legacy is. It's not surprising. No, I'm not surprised. Oh, here's what's love your shows. Oh, you're so sweet. What's this theory here? Keith, one theory is he will be the last pope. The pope that's gone? The pope that just left? I don't know. Did y'all see the picture that the Pope that they showed had his hands clasped at Easter, and then there's another hand down on the wheelchair? He had 3 hands. Whoops. Whoopsie. That was like when they went up in space. Whoopsie. People are catching all these pictures. Well, you guys, yes, I can, Lee. I'll do it for next week. Well, thank you guys. Well, you guys, you're so sweet, hon. Thank you. The name of the theory. That could be, we'll look at the Pope next week. The Pope with 3 hands on the picture. That's like the Bezos space thing that went up in space and they opened the door from the inside. Whoops. Oh. What? I heard that too. Then there's the black Pope and the gray Pope too. Lordy, lordy. Lordy, lordy, all these too many popes. I just want to get down in the basement where all the books and all the astrology books are in the Vatican. I'm going to sneak into the Vatican in the basement. That's all I want. You think while they're picking out a pope, I could go sneak in and go look at the books and take a couple with me? They'd never know it. Those guards, how would they know? Whoopsie. I could act like I was lost. Oh, I'm just an American. I'm lost. I could play dumb. Well, you guys have a great week. We will stay on this. We'll look at the Pope too. We'll take a look at the Pope. I'll look at the Pope for you, Lee. And we'll pull up Klaus Schwab too. I'll tell you what, the chart will probably catch on fire. Did I say that? I better get out some holy water while I'm doing his chart. All the pretend space ride. You know, the fake chick pretends. Oh, the door snafu. The door snafu was the funniest. I should do a chart on the space ride. God love their hearts. You know, they really blew it. People are making so much fun of them. I think, you know, it's Katy Perry's really under some stress from this ride, this fake ride. The ride that never happened. Well, they were stupid. They opened the door from the inside. They shouldn't have done that. So, well, you guys have a great week. Thanks so much for tuning in. And it's going to be a good week. Astrologically, May is beautiful. Breathe. And we'll have a look at true crime next Wednesday. So have a great week, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great week. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.